Hello and welcome to the second part of this self-portrait multiple exposure video tutorial. In the last part I showed you how to load all of those images into a new document, and you can see those appearing on the right hand side there. And what's also happened is that each of those images has now got a layer mask connected to it. So really it's replicating what you get in Photoshop CS. Now these black masks are all masking out those top layers, and I can switch those on and off just by holding down Shift and clicking into the layer mask itself. And as I do that, we can see each of the other layers. Or if I turn the black of the mask to white, and if I inverse the black of the mask to white, it'll just suddenly reveal the layer, as it won't actually be masking. So black in the layer mask will actually hide the layer, white will actually reveal it. So if I go Control-I just to re-hide that, and it's important as you're doing this tutorial that you know the shortcuts, which are Shift and click, just so that you can very quickly see exactly where Ed is positioned within the screen. And the other one that's very useful is if you hold down Alt and click, you can see the actual mask itself, and that will become apparent why that's useful a little later on. Now to switch back, you just hold down Alt again and click into the layer mask. So the first thing that we want to do is to get foreground Ed to appear. So we know where he is, and we can just check where he is by holding down Shift and left clicking. And then all we need to do is select a nice brush, and we can expand or increase the size of the brush head just with the square bracket tools. Left to decrease, right to increase. We make sure that we've got white as our foreground colour, and we've also got quite a nice soft brush. And then as we paint onto the layer mask, we start to actually reveal Ed. So it really is that simple. So I'll just brush over Ed, and we can see him starting to appear. And as we brush down, we've got the full Ed there. And now all we need to do is just zoom in, and what we want to do is just very carefully use the brush tool just to put this Ed in front of the background Ed there. So basically we're going to have to alter the size of the brush and very carefully paint in and around, just to make sure that we've got a really good meet of the two characters. So there we go. As you see, I've just gone over the leg of the secondary Ed on the right hand side. So if I just hit X, so we swap to a black brush. Now if I zoom right in so I can get really nice and close and see what's going on, I can use a much smaller brush just to carefully paint back in the leg down to the bottom there. Okay, that's our first Ed revealed, and I just want to check that there aren't any holes in the mask that I've created. So if I hold down Alt and just click on the mask, I can now just see exactly where I've drawn around, and I can see that there's a couple of small areas that I just need to fill in. So making sure I've got white as my foreground, just increase the brush size, and then I can just clean up the mask, and now we have a perfect cut out. So that's our first character done. Now we have to click down onto the next Ed layer. Just hold Shift and click onto the palette just to see exactly where the next one is, and we see him hiding just there in the background. Select my brush tool, shortcut for that is just B, or you can go over to tool palettes on the left hand side. Just decrease the brush size, and again I can just quickly paint the new Ed in. Now here we see that he's actually been covered up a little bit by the arm of the Ed in the foreground. So again, if I just click onto the mask that I created for the last Ed, what I want to do is just to use a black brush, so X, just to swap black to the foreground, decrease the size of the brush just with the square bracket tools, and now I just very carefully want to go around and just paint in this Ed in the background. If you need to move around the image, just hold down the space bar and then you can just click and move around. So there we go. If I zoom out, and we can really see how the image is starting to come together. And again, we'll just hold down Shift, click on the mask to see where our next edge is. And again, making sure that we've got the layer mask selected for the third edge layer, we can then just use the white brush to reveal this edge in the corner, playing cards. And also just make sure you'll often get feet and things which are appearing just under the table, so you can see them there. And we just want to make sure that those are included as well. And again, need to zoom in. Just make sure that we've got a good match between the legs and the head in the foreground. So what I'll do is I'll leave you to get on with that, and you've got the two other sections to do, the pool table and the dartboard, and I'll see you in the next part where we'll take the three multiple exposure images and blend those together using photo merge.